everyone, and welcome back to Becklin Backyard. We had some beautiful days this past week, and so I got to get a lot done in the garden. I am doing this voiceover because the audio from my recording was just so painful to listen to. It was mostly just the wind and my chickens squawking and cars driving, and I just record on my iPhone, and so I just make do with what I have, but this did not work out today. So today, I am putting in some onion sets, some seed potatoes, and making a pea trellis. And here you can see me looking at this book called The Family Backyard Plan, I think is what it's called, by Melissa K. Norris. And I was just referencing plant enemies, so making sure I was putting the onions and potatoes in a spot where they wouldn't be next to plants that they would not get along with. And so I am first going to put some onions in these grow bags. In a previous video, I put these onions that my sister had started from seed for me, but I realized that was just not what I needed to be doing. It's not the time of year, and they just would not be ready when I needed them. I should have done that maybe in the fall if I wanted to. So I went to Tractor Supply, and that's where I could find the best price on seed potatoes and onion sets compared to anywhere. And actually they had them in stock. I had a hard time finding them in stock. So I have 80 onion sets, and I'm just pulling out the seed starts I did and replacing those with onion sets, and then I'm going to put the rest in that front corner of the garden just to see what happens. And I have never done onions before, and I've never done them in grow bags before, but everything I've seen says it's a great way to do it. So we'll see how it goes. And they're just a white onion, and that is what I use most in my cooking, and so I figured, why not grow some? finished the onions and we're moving on to potatoes now. So you can see I have these larger grow bags, and I'm hoping these work good for the potatoes this year. Last year all my potatoes were just in the ground, and I'd bought the seed potatoes way too early. A lot of them rotted, and I ended up growing mostly just potatoes that had sprouted from my pantry. And so this year I've got seed potatoes from Tractor Supply, and they've only been at my house a day before planting them, so hopefully this works out better. I'm starting with the yellow potatoes, the Yukon Golds, and they're gonna go in this grow bag, and you'll see me here in a little bit dump out about half of the dirt, because I remember that as you are growing potatoes, the leaves will come up and you cover those leaves with more dirt, and that allows more potatoes to grow. And you continue to do that throughout the season until they're ready to harvest. And I realized that, well, I can just take out most of the dirt in here, and then as the leaves grow, I can just keep throwing more dirt in, because last year with the potatoes in the ground, as the leaves would come up, there wasn't much place for me to put more dirt because it would kind of just fall away on the sides. And these potatoes are on a different side of the garden than they were last year, because I wanted tomatoes over on that other side, and potatoes and tomatoes can't go together. So I even think with this boulder wall, it'll be easy for me to load up more dirt on top of these potatoes. So I think this is just a better spot for potatoes anyway. And so I'm just unloading some dirt to make room for future dirt on top of these potatoes. Now moving on to the red potatoes. In each grow bag I put about 5 or 6 seed potatoes and the rest in the ground, just because why waste potatoes? And so you can see me open this here and almost immediately be grossed out by how rotten some of these were. And so I think there were about 3 I couldn't use, and the rest were kind of questionable because they were just covered in this like rotten juice. And I'm hoping it turns out okay. These were only at my house for a day, and I had sent my husband to Tractor Supply to pick them up, and I'm not sure if something happened to them in between them arriving at my house and now, or they were gross at the store but he didn't notice, and it's really not a big deal anyway. Like, we'll have plenty of potatoes. I don't know, maybe it was just something overlooked at the store. And so I still got to plant a bunch of potatoes, so it'll be fine. Just a bummer that some got wasted. And so yeah, I'm just doing the same thing I did with the yellows, a few in here, a few in the ground, and then as the leaves grow up, I'll cover them more. moving on to the Pea Trellis. Since the audio is so difficult here, I figured it'd be easier if I just did a quick voiceover so you can see me cutting down the twine I used on the trellis last year. And to give a little explanation on how we built this, the 3 vertical posts are just tomato stakes, I think they're called, from our local hardware store. And that big stick on top is just a branch from the trees in our backyard. And I just tied twine around the bottom and then kind of like zigzagged it up and down. You'll see in the next clip how I did that, and I feel like it really speaks for itself, so I'll just have some music playing, and I feel like that'd be the easiest way to watch how I do it. All right, I have my little guy strapped to me in a messy house, but I don't know if anything's gonna get done, and that's okay. It's a 2 coffee kind of day, so I'm gonna make myself some coffee. And then my husband took some potting soil to work with him on accident. I was gonna repot some plants, and so that might just have to wait. Well, not might, it will have to wait till he gets home today. And so I think that's about all I can get done gardening wise, and we'll see what else happens. We have our small group from church tonight, so tonight won't be super productive, but that's okay. So my hair is crazy, I'm covered in spit up, but my husband's doing the bedtime routine, so we are going to repot these plants before it gets too dark out here. We're just on my deck. Both of these plants were so tiny, like teeny tiny. Like this one, I think was one of those, I don't know if they still do it, but when you walk into Target and they have like tiny succulents for like $4, that was this. And I think that was maybe 3 years ago, and now it looks like this. And I still remember like nearly 2 years ago repotting into this and thinking, oh my gosh, that pot is so massive. It's way too massive for this plant. But now here we are. And then this one, I can't remember where I got it, or if someone gave it to me maybe, but it was also teeny tiny when I got it. And these are both growing like crazy. And I literally do nothing except for forget to water them for months. And then I'll remember, because they sit right above my sink and I'm like, oh shoot, maybe I should water those. So I think they're in this window above my sink, and I think that's why they're doing well, because they get a lot of, I probably covered my face in dirt. They get a lot of sun throughout the day. So after this, I think I'm going to go collect eggs as well. It's been a few days. Today my husband and I are both like, oh shoot, I haven't gotten eggs in a long time. Have you? No. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe a little more. Okay, let's see. I don't even know how to take this out. So you can see it's all, they've been growing towards the sun this way. So in addition to being repotted, I need to rotate it to face a different way. Okay, so I definitely need like this side facing the sun now, so they start acting a little more normal. But hopefully it'll be down in here with some room to grow. I also couldn't even tell you the name of these. I'm definitely not a plant person. These are, I'm not joking, the only 2 houseplants I've ever kept alive in my whole life. This will need to get topped off with something else. Maybe. This one came out a lot easier. I can even see a fresh little guy growing in there. This one seems pretty happy. I'm gonna go grab some of the compost from the garden to top this off. Alright, now it'll be interesting to see how long these pots are big enough for these plants. All right, let's see how many eggs we have. Oh my goodness. Okay, come here with the basket. I've got Buddy helping me.
Why lift me up?
I need you to just walk over with the basket. Okay, you walk closer? Can you walk closer? Can you lift it up higher? Oh, thanks. Okay, hold on. Can you hold it? One more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Got it.
And that's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for coming along with us on our day in the garden, getting a bunch of stuff done. I'll see you next time.